Thank you all for joining us. I'm really excited to have you all. My name is Julie Klingler. For those of you I haven't had the chance to meet, I'm the director of the Wolf Center for Alumni, Parents, and Friends. So on behalf of over 25,000 alumni living in 62 countries around the world, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our virtual Coffee with the Coaches event. Yesterday, you might know this already, yesterday was National Coffee Day. And so we decided to extend that by one day and continue to celebrate it with you now. Today on the call, we have Oilers Club members, we've got former athletes, we've got current student athletes, and so many wonderful alumni. So I'm very excited to see all of you on the call today. Wanted to let you know that whether you are a loyal UF supporter or you're new to us, we're really glad that you're here today. It's been an exciting fall semester here at UF. All the students are back on campus, the weather is cooling down, the leaves are turning color, and just next weekend is our homecoming weekend, and I can't believe the time has gone so fast. This is the perfect time for a UF athletics coaches update. So today's event will be moderated by Brandy Lorita, and you'll hear today from 4 coaches, 2 alums, and 2 current students. Some will share their stories about the impact UF athletics has made on their lives and careers, and then others will share positive experiences that are happening right now. But before we begin, we just have a couple of brief announcements to go over. We want you to make the most of this fun event, and so please make sure that you identify yourself and you've got a good display name for prizes and questions so we can call on you. Please use the Q&A. So we've got a Q&A feature if you hover down at the bottom of your screen. And if we have time, we'll do Q&A at the end of this session. And if we can't get to all your questions today, we will circle back and we'll answer them later. Also use the chat feature that should be available to you on the bottom of your screen as well. So click on that and use that chat for comments or suggestions, interact with your friends that you see on the call. But as far as the chat goes, make sure that questions are put over into the Q&A and not in the chat where we might not see them. We will have athletic swag to give away during the event. We're going to do one of those halfway through the event, and then we'll do the best one for the end. So stay tuned for both of those. You have to be present to win. And then a little later, we'll tell you about upcoming programming and such as homecoming and other events. So right now we're going to dive right on in and we're going to get started. And so I want to introduce our moderator today, Brandi Larita. Brandy began her role as the Director of Athletics in 2015 after serving as an Assistant Athletic Director and Senior Woman Administrator for the university from 2008 to 2015. As the leader of the athletic department, Brandy oversees all Findlay's athletic programs, which includes 24 varsity sports. During her tenure, Brandy's leadership allowed the program to have back-to-back GMAC President's Cup wins, finish in the top 25 among all Division II schools in overall competitive success, and increased student athlete rosters and retention. Brandy's also served in the NCAA Division II and the Findlay community as chair of Findlay Hancock County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors in 2013. She's been a member of the Findlay Hancock County Alliance Board of Directors. She's currently the chair for the GMAC Administrative Council. She currently serves on the board of the Division II Athletic Directors Association. Also serves currently on the Findlay Family YMCA Board of Directors and the executive committee of that board, and is currently a member of the Blanchard Valley Hospital governance structure. And that is a lot. Brandy graduated from St. Andrew's Presbyterian College, earning a degree in physical education, and was a dual sport athlete in volleyball and softball. And she also holds a master's degree in education from Converse College. So without further ado, I will turn the program over to Brandi Larita.
Thank you, Julie, and welcome to all that were able to join us today. We hope to give you an update on all things that are happening athletics with our variety of coaches, student athletes, and alum that are with us today. But before we start talking about what's happening now, I want to take a moment to say thank you for your continued support of the University of Findlay Athletic Department and all of our programs. We couldn't have the successes we have without your support, whether it is from a fan base to a monetary base. We can't do what we do without you. So thank you for your support now. And specifically through this difficult time that we're living in, your support has been unwavered. And so we can't say thank you enough for everything that you give us as loyal Oiler fans and alumni. I think all of the student athletes and alum on the screens that you see would tell you that they wouldn't have the experiences they have without all that you do. So thank you, and we'll hope to continue to engage you through this process. We're gonna have a kind of a general theme today to talk about how we got to where we are today. Our typical day in athletics looks very different today than it would have a year ago, or hopefully what it will look like a year from now as we sit here on September 30th. And so I wanna start with Allison Kelly to kick us off. And I think that we have a lacrosse student athlete that may be getting on. She's having some technical issues, so hopefully Kendra will join us. But Allison is brand new as a head coach, and the first year of a head coach is always difficult. And Allison is trying to navigate that through a pandemic. Started last year as our interim head coach, and I believe you got to coach, what, 5 games? Mm-hmm. Before we had to cancel the rest of our spring season. So you've had quite an adventurous first year. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like, how the team was able to react last year with the abrupt stop to their season, and how you're preparing to move forward.
So I think last year, the biggest thing was just accepting what it was. We were really, really excited to go into the spring season, and especially being picked to win the conference that year, coming off of a conference championship. The girls were so excited, and that was carrying me through being the interim head coach and being excited to, hi Kendra, Kendra's here, awesome. Kendra's here. But we were really excited, and it was really hard to come back from spring break and then kind of have to cancel our next big trip after that. And then kind of all of a sudden within days, we were like, okay, everyone has to go home. And it was really, really hard to accept, especially being here and being like, okay, all of a sudden now I'm not doing my job, and it being my first year, I was really excited, and I was really excited to see what our team was able to do. So it was just a hard thing to accept. And as the days kept getting, we kept going farther and farther closer to May and not having lacrosse, it kept being okay, what if we were still playing? Where would we be? How would we have looked right now? What kinds of games would we have won? What kind of losses would we have had? Stuff like that. But coming back, being able to come back with this team is really awesome. I'm very excited that we get to start over as a group together, as me being the head coach this time around, not the interim. So it's a really, really exciting time for our team just to start kind of fresh together. And then we're just looking forward to the spring and hopefully being able to play this year, a full season. So Kendra's here. No, you leave your mask on. I'm going to put mine on too. Kendra's here. Come over here.
So Allison, you're an alum of the program.
I am, yes.
As a student athlete, looking back at your experience, how do you think that you would have reacted as a student athlete that was different than your reaction as a head coach?
I think as a student athlete, I would have been just as crushed as they were. It was a really big change. I constantly tell myself how I don't think I would have reacted almost as humbly and as strongly as these girls did to having a season canceled. I would have been crushed. I would have been thoroughly upset. And I did come back and play a 5th year because I had a redshirt year. So I know what it's like to stay and kind of continue education at the school you started undergrad at. So that's a kind of a cool thing for me to have. But then trying to almost tell the seniors that lost the season, like, hey, there's this really unique opportunity for you to come back as a 5th year and either continue with your undergrad studies if you need to, or start a graduate program. It's a really awesome thing. I did it, so it's very much rewarding. And the girls on the team, they love when you stay. And even though we obviously really like when girls go and move on and start jobs or go to other schools for graduate programs, it's really awesome that we do have 2 girls that returned. So I think I would have been, I don't know, it's hard to tell because I can't imagine having to feel that way, because I had such an awesome experience here at Findlay, but I can't imagine feeling what you guys felt, and the girls that didn't come back and play and have that extra year. And it's a lot to think about. And so I don't know. Right, Kendra?
And Kendra, this is perfect segue in for
Yeah.
your experience. Thank you for joining us. Kendra is a really diverse player. She's also a member of the JV basketball team, right?
Yeah.
You're still doing that? And from what I hear, quite an extensive part of that JV basketball team and what she can do. So dual sport athlete here. Kendra, how was it reacting to kind of the abrupt news, and how did you mentally get through that state?
It was really heartbreaking, like not only for me, especially for all the seniors that didn't get the opportunity to play their last season. And I was just so excited to play, but you know, it was tough on all of us, but we got through it and we're back and ready for this upcoming season. I'm really excited for that.
What's the thing that you feel like you miss most, that you never thought you would say you're so excited to be back doing something?
Running and just being at practice every day with my teammates. It's a lot of fun there.
Awesome. So we're hopeful for a full lacrosse season coming this spring. And so ladies, we'll be back in touch with you. But we're going to move now to our golf program. And like lacrosse, golf had an abrupt end to their spring season last year. But fortunately, we are already competing again this fall. So our head coach, Dominic Guarneri, is also an alum of the University of Findlay and the golf program, and has been our head coach for 8 years. Can't believe it's been 8 years. But tell us about that. Tell us about how you had the roller coaster ride and are now competing again and successfully competing in this new environment. Hang on, you're muted.
Thank you, Brandy. So with golf, obviously it's slightly different because we got to play our entire fall season, which kind of made it hurt a little worse because we were arguably having our best years. Both teams had multiple wins in the fall. We finished, neither the men or women finished worse than second in a tournament the entire fall. We went on our spring trip to prepare for the spring season, and everything was looking good. And, you know, we're out at the golf course practicing, and a second later, our season's taken away from us. But, you know, at first we reacted, and obviously everybody was pretty down and disappointed, and we didn't really know what was going on. And then after we kind of took a step back and realized the importance of safety for people and things, you know, it was a little bit different perspective. And now finding out that we were able to compete this fall was, I mean, our teams were so excited. We've had to make some changes, but the men have already had 2 tournaments and the women have had 1 tournament. And, you know, we were fortunate to have one of our top players on the women's team come back, who's with us today, and 2 of our top players on the men come back to play for their 5th year. So, you know, it was obviously a big adjustment for us, but we fought through it. I can't say enough about our kids, the entire team, how they handled it, you know, how they're actually handling it this year, the things we're doing to stay safe and be able to compete. And, you know, we've been able to travel. Like I said, we do things a little bit differently, but we're really excited about the rest of this fall and then hopefully a full spring.
So one of those, as you said, Meredith Whipper's with us, and Meredith is serving dual role this morning. She's an alum, was able to finish her undergraduate degree last year, but because of the cancellation of the spring season, she was able to join us for an additional year as a student athlete coming back to get her MBA. So Meredith, we're so glad to have you back on the team one, but tell us about how hard that decision was to decide if you were going to come back an additional year to get your final season or to move on professionally.
Honestly, for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I love to play golf. I love Findlay, so coming back with coach's support, it was quite an easy decision. And being able to get my MBA, play another year, I'm just very thankful.
The changes that Coach talked about, so some of the different travel restrictions that are in place, or masking on the putting green. Tell me about that. Is it really impacting your game, or has it now become part of your daily life?
Honestly, now I don't even think we think about it. our 3-hour drive to Indy with our masks on, that was a little different. And then the putting green and chipping greens, when we warm up, we have to wear them. But I mean, if we can play golf, I don't really mind wearing the mask.
Awesome. So we're glad you're back and looking forward to, again, golf is competing this fall. We are able to have some competition for our low contact sports this fall, and golf being one of them. And I think you're having another great start to the year. So really high expectations for both our men's and women's golf programs for the spring. Coach, any predictions on what you're expecting for the spring?
I mean, I'm not the type of person that likes to make predictions, but I think we're on pace to hopefully our fans out there will see us on a national level come spring.
Meredith, what's your prediction?
I think if we work hard, we'll be able to do the things we want to do.
Awesome. So we've talked to 2 coaches, 2 student athletes, and an alum-ish. Julie, I'm going to stop for a minute and let you do a swag giveaway here in the middle before we move on to our 2 additional sports.
Yeah, that sounds good, Brandy. Thank you. We've got a poll too. Let me see if we can get that poll up, and we'll just see if our viewers today can answer this question before we do our swag giveaway. So tell me the answer to this one, folks. How many national championships have the Oilers football program won? So go ahead and click your answers. Oh, I love to see all these answers coming in. I see an overwhelmingly a lot of people. Oh, they're going back and forth between 2 answers trying to figure it out. So we'll give them just another couple minutes to try to get those in. Click on your screen, answer that. We're going to take it down in just a second. All right, let's end it. So the final answer is, the final answer, I'll share the results, is 4. 43% of you got 4, and that is the correct answer. So good job on that. And now we're going to do a swag giveaway. So what we're going to do is give away some really cool stuff provided by the Office of Athletics, such as this cool hat that I really like. And we've also got some really great other swag to give away as well. So for this one, we will give away the hat and this UF t-shirt, this athletic t-shirt right here. And what I'd like for you to do on this one is give me your answer in the chat. So not the Q&A, but the chat. So the question is, and then whoever gives me the first correct answer will be the winner of the swag. So the question is, what was the Oilers' record when they won the NCAA Division II Men's Basketball Championship in 2009? Oh, Jeff Jenkins. Jeff Jenkins was the first one, and he answered it, and it is correct, 36-0. So we have that. So thank you, Jeff. Jeff, I will reach out to you through email to get you that, and we will mail it to you. So we've got that information on file from registration. So thanks for that. That was fun. That was a good break from the conversation. And I can't wait to get back to it and hear what everybody else has to say next. Don't forget, we've got the last giveaway, the swag giveaway at the end. So now I'll turn it back over to Brandy.
Congratulations, you all are very knowledgeable Oiler fans. And we talked about football and the successes they've had in the poll. So I want to introduce now our head football coach, Coach Rob Keys, who has been our head coach. We're in what, year 10 now, Rob? Seems like yesterday.
Scary.
Scary.
It's gone really fast.
You've had a lot of success as a team, and you're navigating the waters now of a postponement of your season. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, but I also want to touch on some of the individual successes that have come through the program under your head coach. You know, we've got 5 players who have made it to NFL camps. And so I want to dive into that, but tell me a little bit about how you're postponing and preparing for the spring now for a football season in the spring.
Well, you know, anytime that there's, I guess, an adjustment need to be made in a program, it's difficult because from a football coach's perspective, we're so cyclical. I mean, our days are the same. If you went back over the last 9 years, and if it was Monday of the first game week, I would probably be doing the same thing the last 8 years that exact Monday. So, when you make a big adjustment and changes are occurring, you have to rely on adapting. It's funny, football is one of those games we sit for hours on end, devising game plans. But when the ball is kicked off, we got to make adjustments. And the coaches and players that make the best adjustments have the most success. And I know I listened to Dom talk a minute ago and Allison, and I'm going to just continue to talk about how I can't say enough about how our players reacted to the situation. No one wants to have all these adjustments made. They want to train, they want to practice, they want to compete. And when you don't get that opportunity, it's difficult. It's difficult mentally and physically, but our guys have done a tremendous job. They're just looking forward to playing a game whenever that may be.
Awesome. So I think you're preparing them well, and we're getting back to more competitive football here soon. But tell us about these successes you've had. So we've got, I believe, one active Oiler who's on an NFL roster, and you've had 4 others who have been in NFL camps.
It really just shows what the program can do. We always talk about what does University of Findlay football do that maybe other programs don't. And, we use it in recruiting quite a bit. And I feel our coaching staff, they do a great job of developing players, both mentally and physically on the field, in the classroom, and they prepare them for life. And if it happened to be an NFL opportunity, we've had guys that have committed, extensively over their career here to get that opportunity at the next level. And I don't think people understand what the percentages are of you actually making an NFL team, let alone making an NFL team from a small school like the University of Findlay. But we're very happy about Jason Moore. Jason's in his 2nd season with the Los Angeles Chargers, a tremendous achievement for him. We've had Harold Jones-Cortez win a Super Bowl ring with the Philadelphia Eagles and play with the Bears. Drew Dickinson recently signed with the Arizona Cardinals this past season. Unfortunately didn't make the team, but had the opportunity in the NFL. Verlon Reed, Clay Belton, and the guy we're going to talk to here in a minute, Drew Ogletree, is one of the guys that's garnered a ton of attention. And, Drew had a pretty big injury a couple years ago. And it's funny, there's some positive out of everything. As coaches, we always want to take the positive, but this delay has helped Drew even be more prepared for this upcoming season and an opportunity to play at the next level. So we're excited to see where his career is going to go after football here at UF.
It's a perfect segue. So Drew, welcome. Drew has had a great career, but has had some adversity with injury, and is hoping to join that short list of Oilers who make an NFL roster. So Drew, tell us what you're doing to prepare for hopefully that next step and what your goals are.
Right now, we're just trying to get the team together, make sure everyone is trying to get back on track because of the layoff that we had during the spring, since spring ball gotten canceled. So we're just trying to get back on track, start practice next week, which I'm very excited about. So just making sure everyone is in the right mindset and everything's ready for practice.
Awesome. So you're feeling good. You're feeling ready to get back. We're excited to see you back on the field. How does this delay look from the draft perspective or preparing for that next step, as you're kind of dual preparing for our season here and then looking forward? Has anything changed in your plan?
So the initial plan was to play this fall season and enter the draft in the spring, but due to COVID-19 and everything, I honestly feel like it was one of the best things to happen to me. But because it gives me just a whole extra year and a half to prepare and train for the NFL draft process and the combine process. So I'm extremely blessed to have this opportunity. And then also the opportunity to bring a championship back to Findlay. So
we're looking forward to seeing not only what you can accomplish, but what the team's going to accomplish this spring and then right back again in the fall. So good luck. We'll keep tabs on you, and don't worry, we'll keep you all posted on Drew's progress. And the last group that we're going to talk to today is our 2 familiar faces that you see on the screen, our head men's basketball coach, Charlie Ernst. And Charlie, I won't make you feel old, but you've been here for a long time at the university, 30 years now, right? 10 years as our head coach. and an alum and part really of our DNA here in the athletic department. So this year's looked like no other, and you still don't know what your schedule is. You don't even know what day we're going to start practice, and I promise we're working on it. But how are you preparing for really just not knowing if you're going to start practice in 15 days or if you're going to start practice in 30 days? I'm not sure on championships yet. So what's your mindset been through this process?
Well, first off, I'm disappointed that Drew didn't mention that, that he was getting ready for basketball season, because normally after each of our games, he reminds me that he's available if I ever need him for basketball. So, but it's good to see that Drew's healthy again. So no offense, Rob, but I think he'd probably be pretty good on the basketball floor too. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's been difficult, but not as difficult as it's been for, Allison or Rob. They've lost games, they've lost seasons. We haven't yet. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that. So I try to keep life and things in perspective. No one's, we're just preparing every day and waiting for that opportunity when it comes so that we can get our season started. I mean, I think the biggest difference outside of the mask situation and outside of the precautions and the constant cleaning and, those sort of things, I think is that as a coach, we've always talked to our players about, kind of a 90-10 rule, where 90% of your day is determined by how you react to the things that happen to you or to the team or to your family, however you react. And then the other 10% are things you have no control over. This year and right now, it's probably more like 60-40, that a lesser percentage of your day is determined by how you react, and a larger percentage is things you have no control over. So I think it makes it even more important that the part you do have control over in the way you react has to be positive, has to be full of energy. And that starts with me as the head coach, because the players are creatures of example. And if I'm not leading that sort of life and response, then it's hard for me to expect them to. So I think that's something that we have to focus on in our program because of the uncertainty, because of so much they have no control over. I think that's my job as a head coach, is to not get them worrying about when practice officially starts, when the season starts. We're just going to worry about today and approach today in the best way we can.
Well, and I would say the question I probably get most about basketball is, when we play, are people going to be able to be in Croy? And I'm sure you get that question a lot. Are we going to have fans? People want to know, and I will just say, I'll put it out there, we're working on it. I can't tell you definitively yes or no. It will very much be dependent on state regulations and where we're at in health situations at the time of games, but know that we're working on it, and if we can make it happen, we will. But we'll be streaming the games regardless. So when the Oilers get back on the court, for all of our fans out there, just so you know, we're working on getting you in Croy, and if we can't, then we'll make sure you can see the game. So no answer there yet. That was a long-winded, we don't know yet, but I know that's the question I get a lot, and Charlie, you're probably hearing the same thing too.
Yeah, I tell them to call you. So.
Perfect. They all are, so I appreciate that. Our last panelist today is a familiar face and alum of the men's basketball program. Like all of our student athletes on the panel, his resume is quite long. And he is currently recovering from injury, a little bit like Drew, but had an opportunity to play professionally with the G League, and is now hoping for some other professional opportunities. So Taryn, tell us about how the pause and what's going on has affected your professional career in basketball. Hang on here, you're still muted. There you go.
I think I speak for every professional athlete. And when everything shut down, especially for basketball, being an inside sport, it was very tough to find a gym to work out and stay prepared and stay ready. I think that was the most difficult part about the whole situation. And with me, always concentrating on being prepared and never having to get ready in a short notice, it was the complete opposite. And so I think going forward, like Coach said, I learned it from him, definitely. But in life, there's just some things you can't control, but what you can is how you react. And I use that every single day, and I try to use it to motivate myself and to keep myself focused on the bigger picture.
So many of the people watching today, I'm sure, watched you on national television in the basketball tournament, an unfortunate injury. So another question we get often, people ask about Drew, he's back. People ask about you, and you're not even here anymore. So people would like to know, are you ready to go when things open back up in basketball?
I hope so. Hopefully I can get back around on the court around January, February. Fingers crossed, and hopefully everything goes as planned. I have the best trainer helping me out, so I know I'm in good hands, and I know I'll be well prepared mentally, just with surrounding myself with the right people. And as long as everything goes okay with COVID and all those concerns, hopefully should be back January, February. Awesome.
So you've heard a little bit, for those that are watching, about what's going on in our athletic program, and this is just a snapshot. 4 of our programs of the 24 that we have, and a little bit about what's going on with them. So wanted to open it up, Julie, if we've got time for questions. I'm not sure, to see if there's any questions, or I've seen a couple come through the chat that we can help from any of the panelists to answer any questions.
Yeah, I think we've got time, and we've got 2 really good questions so far. Gregory Gilbert asks, for the head coaches, how have other conference head coaches helped you in talking through issues this fall?
I'll go ahead and start with that question, just because of our competition. Us as coaches in golf, so we do a lot of the ins and outs of running our tournaments. Everything we do is tournaments. It's not like head matches or anything. So other head coaches, we've kind of piggybacked off each other of how to handle things in this situation, you know, from wearing masks on the putting green and not exchanging scorecards. Do we keep the flag sticks in? Things like that. So, you know, we've worked with the GLVC is still playing. So we've been competing against a lot of schools in that conference a lot, and just communicating with each other. We were kind of the setting the bar, because we hosted a men's tournament before. It was the first tournament for a lot of teams, and got positive feedback from that. And then we just went to a tournament in Indianapolis, and they did a lot of the same things. So just helping each other out in that way.
Okay, good, thank you. Chris Lindell asks, will other sports like women's lacrosse be streamed for all games as well? Maybe Allison could weigh in on that, and Brandy. So yeah, go right ahead, Allison.
So usually we have awesome people that run our games. So Kyle Neerman and David Buck, they do a really good job of streaming our games. And so as far as I know, as long as we're having games, they should be streamed, right, Brandy?
Yeah, so we have invested a lot had the great support of UFTV here on campus, and it is our intention to stream as many athletic events as possible. I would be inaccurate to say that we're going to be able to stream all of them, as we will possibly have up to 7 athletic events happening at the same time on any given Saturday in the spring. So we're going to do our best. We will make sure that all sports have equal opportunity to be streamed, and that everybody will have access to watch all of our great student athletes throughout the spring season. We even got to stream golf. So that was a first for us. We were able to stream the golf tournament to make sure, because spectators were pretty limited, that people could watch our student athletes in golf. So we are doing our best to make sure that we have access for all of our sports.
All right, the next question comes in from Walter Lesson, and he says, what's happening with volleyball? So Brandy, can you speak a little bit about volleyball and give us an update on that?
Sure. Volleyball is one of our fall high contact sports that has been postponed to the spring. We are looking at starting volleyball very early in the winter. Being an indoor sport, being able to start their season as soon as we can, coming back in the spring is our intention. We're hoping to have a volleyball schedule released within the next week or so as we prepare for spring volleyball season. So they're busy training right now, but we're preparing for an early January start to practice and be able to get their competitive season in early in the spring.
Okay, good. And I've got one more question for Dom from Bob Rustick. And Dom, you may not be able to answer this question because I don't know if you want to give this away, but Bob wants to know if you can share anything about getting the Mulcahy girls from LCC on the team. And being I watch a lot of Lima news and on TV, and so I'm familiar with that. So Dom, can you share anything with us?
I cannot, just because I have to wait till the official signing, but if you Google it, you'll find out. That's all I'll say.
Okay, that's a good one.
I do want to give a plug out, though, like Brandy was talking about streaming. Our women's event is coming up Monday and Tuesday, and as long as the weather's decent, UFTV does plan on doing that again. So all of you out there watching today, if you can log on and watch, it was really neat what they did. I can't say enough about what they did for the men's event. They had a commentator the final day, and it was awesome what UFTV and David and Kyle did and put together. And they plan on doing that this Monday and Tuesday as well. So.
Okay, good, thank you. We will take one more question, and then any unanswered questions we'll try to circle back and answer. We've got one that asks, will student athletes be returning to campus after Thanksgiving or staying remote? So Brandy, can you speak to that a little bit?
It will be very dependent on our schedules. We do anticipate having our winter student athletes on campus after Thanksgiving to continue or begin their competitive seasons. Still waiting on some decisions by the NCAA to know exactly what that will look like, but we do have an anticipation that we will have our winter student athletes on campus for practice and competition as we prepare. We do have contests that I assume, as long as nothing changes today, we're hoping to play even in December. So we do anticipate having them on campus.
Okay, good. Great, thank you. We will answer all other questions through email, and thank you to everyone that submitted questions. It's always good to talk things out and hear updates about things from our attendees. So I just want to give Brandy a chance to wrap up. Brandy, are there any other final comments from you before we close out the event?
I think every coach touched on it, but I can't say enough about the student athletes that you see on the screen and their not only athletic abilities, but the human beings that they are. If you have a chance to meet any of them, I think you would feel the same way, that they're really great people and represent you as alumni and supporters of the university well. So thank you to all of you for all that you do in this trying time, especially, and for your unwavering support of athletics and what you're giving back to your program. So continue the good work. And for the coaches on the screen too, you're not going to find better people in our profession and what they do and the impact they have on our student athletes. So I can't say thank you enough to them for allowing us to do what we do. And I ask again for the continued support of everyone that's watching. We need you to be there whenever we do get back on the competitive fields and courts. And for those that are competing now, your support helps us get through the days and helps us to have success. So thank you. And we appreciate any future support that you can give us from time, talent, or treasures. We'll take any of it and all of it because you help us with our success. So thank you so much.
Brandy, thank you. I want to say thank you too to Brandy and her panel, and thanks so much all the coaches sharing updates and the panel sharing their memories and their stories. All of that we love to hear, and we hope that all of you on the call today have felt a real sense of reconnection with UF during this time. So thanks everybody for attending. We're going to do a final swag drawing, so don't go away, don't drop off this call. We are going to pull your names out of this bucket. So everyone that registered, you do have to be present to win. So I'm going to pull this out. This one is our bigger swag gift. It includes his and hers t-shirt, shirts, I should say. One t-shirt that looks like this. But then the other one is the collared shirt, which is a little, I think it's beautiful. I would love to have one, but it looks like this. So this is very nice. So his and hers, we'll work on sizes when we have the winner. And then we're also going to include some swag too. So there'll be alumni swag in there as well that we will put in, and we'll mail all this out after the event. So at this time, I'm gonna pick a name out of here. If you are here, you'll have to answer in the chat. So not the Q&A, but the chat. So I'm watching the chat for this. And the first name I'm pulling out is Chris Lindell from Palatine, Illinois. Is Chris on the call? Is Chris still here? I know she had a question earlier. Oh, she's on the call. Okay, so Chris, you will receive the swag. So thank you, Chris. I'll get your email information and contact you after this. And so I want to just mention a few things to everybody. We are so excited to hold our first ever virtual homecoming this next weekend, October 9 through 11. Many of the events are virtual and they're completely free, and you can join in right from your home. So we've got Oiler Nation drive-through, which is going to be more of a live local event, but also the Alumni Awards, the Doodle with Derek, our mascot, and the virtual tailgate and more. So don't forget, the other event that we'd like to highlight is our Fridays at Findlay lecture series. And the next one will be held on October 30. And it will feature nationally prominent agricultural business leaders. So please tune into that. You can visit our alumni website to register for all of those. But if you have any questions, call the alumni office. And just to echo what Brandy said too, for all of you who have previously supported UF Athletics, we thank you for your gifts. Your generosity ensures that UF continues to offer that level of excellence for our student athletes and our sports programs. If you enjoyed today's event and would like to make a gift, you can visit give.findlay.edu. And again, from our office, we will say goodbye to all of you, and thanks once more to everybody. Bye, everyone.